Welcome to the channel, or welcome back. My name is John Weinberg, and coffee. If you follow Peter McKinnon, you probably recognize this James Coffee Company, and it's even got a little maple leaf on the back. My son made me a latte. It is so good. So today we're talking about cameras. I want to talk about my camera collection, why I have the cameras that I do, and that I go through kind of a reevaluation every year, figuring out what I want to keep, where I want to go going forward. Is everything working for me the way that I want it to? And all those things, trying to figure that out. And I start by looking at the cameras that I currently use on a regular basis. And then I look at the cameras that I'm either using randomly or not using at all. And then is there the possibility to trade those in for other gear or just sell them, which is another possibility as well, and sitting on some cash until something comes up that I want to go ahead and purchase. I don't change out my cameras very often. I'm about a once every 4 to 7 years switching either camera systems or getting new cameras. And let's start by talking about the cameras that I currently have and the ones that I use absolutely all the time. So first, film camera, Leica M6. So I have the Leica M6 and I've had this for about 3 years now. And I have two lenses, a 35 and a 50 millimeter, and I'm shooting film on a fairly regular basis, probably going through 4 to 8 rolls of film every month. And digital, my everyday, and I did a video on this, my everyday digital carry is going to be my Leica FE2. Absolutely love it, 28 millimeter. And everywhere I go, I take this camera with me. I usually have this and the M6 when I'm taking my cameras. I want to have one film, one digital, and 90% of the time it is these two cameras, both Leicas, the M6 and the FE2. Now my other digital camera, Fuji X-T4. I've had the X-T4 since it came out, and I upgraded from the X-T2, and I sold my X-T2 and was using several lenses that I had for the Fuji system before I bought Leica, the Leica FE2 and the M6. I was shooting exclusively with the Fuji X-T4, and then I had a backup of the X-T2 until I then switched and stopped doing photography for hire. So now it's more passion projects, and this isn't getting as much use anymore. And I sold off a bunch of the lenses when I purchased my Leica gear. That's how I funded my Leica gear. And now I just have the 10 to 24 and the 35 millimeter. Behind me on the table, I've got the X100T and the X-T1. Now those I'm never going to get rid of. Those are ones that my sons are using, and they swap between them. Yeah, they're using those and they love them and they're fun, and it's a great gateway trying to learn photography and getting into it. And then we may expand lenses based on what their interests are and what they want to shoot. That's a whole other video. So this is the Nikon FE2, my second film camera. And this was my film camera from 1985 until present. And this was what I shot with all the time. It was my only camera until I went digital. And I had the 70 to 210 and the 50 millimeter 1.8 Nikkor lenses for this. I still have those, and I love this camera. It's a tank, and it is still working the same way it did when I purchased it. I've done some damage to it, and I've had to fix the ISO ring. I bent it one time when I dropped the camera, but that is the only damage, and it was repaired. And I just added an eyepiece that I did a video about a month ago that I'm still able to get parts for this camera. This is going to be a whole video in and of itself at some point, where I'm going to deep dive into the Nikon FE2. But yeah, I shoot both color and film with this camera. Mainly lately, I've been shooting color, and I'll never get rid of this. This is going to basically be handed off to my kids when I pass, and I'll never get rid of it. It's awesome. It's probably my favorite camera. next to the M6. Now, the M6 is a new system for me in the last few years. I hadn't shot rangefinders. One of the reasons I bought it is because I wanted to kind of change things up. I wanted to learn a new system. I wanted to get into the Leica M system and learn it and grow with it and have some fun changing up the way I make images. And yeah, so that's why I purchased it. And I've got Voigtlander lenses on it. Somebody actually gave me grief and said that why bother putting knockoff lenses or cheap Chinese lenses on a Leica M6 instead of Leica glass. I'm not in a position to spend $2,000 to $5,000 for Leica glass, and I want to buy new. So at some point I may get either a Summilux or Summicron 50mm, maybe a lifetime goal. But for right now, I love these Voigtlander lenses and I'm getting amazing results and learning this system. So I'm holding on to this for the long term. I've been looking at the Leica MP for different light meter and the different lever. I know that's silly, but I may just update this rewind lever with a solid one just because I like the aesthetic and the feel of it. I've used that on an M3 and on the MP and just really like the way that feels. And I may upgrade the light meter in this, or I may trade it in and get a Leica MP. It's kind of a decision I'm thinking of, but that's long-term, not happening in the next year or two. Now, where am I and what am I thinking? So I'm thinking that the X-T4, I'm no longer using it for video. I've been using this Insta360 Ace Pro, and I've actually done video with the X-T1, and that's another possibility with that 35mm. That was actually a really cool look and feel to my videos, and I may be selling this X-T4 along with the 10 to 24, and I'm looking at getting either a Voigtlander lens for the Leica, possibility of a 28, or the Nikon. I want to upgrade the lens on the Nikon from the standard Nikkor lens to a 58mm Voigtlander lens. And this is a thought process, trying to figure out where I want to go and what do I want to have on a regular basis. When I'm shooting, I've got my Q2, I've got the M6. Now sometimes I do the Q2 and the FE2. And those will be the two cameras in my bag. If I'm traveling, then I'm usually taking everything because I want to have some options. And sometimes I do want that Fujifilm and that 10 to 24 for landscape. So that would be the reason that I would want to hold on to that. Or maybe I get a longer lens or a more narrow prime, maybe getting a 90mm for the Leica. Just all kinds of possibilities that I'm thinking about. And it's reevaluating, what am I making images of? I'm doing a lot of cityscapes, I'm doing some portraits, and I am going to be doing some landscape work. But the landscapes are going to be broader landscapes. I'm not going to need that really tight view. So I did a video a while ago about wishing that I still had the 50 to 140, but it would be so rare that I would use that lens that the amount of money that I would spend on it just wouldn't be worth it for me, because it would be a once in a while, wouldn't be a regular thing to take with me. I like wide angle lenses. I love the 50, the 35, the 28. Those are my preferred focal lengths, and it's just the way that I shoot and it works for me. So yeah, the dilemma is, do I get rid of the Fuji X-T4 and the 10 to 24 and use that to purchase a new lens? Or do I hold on to that X-T4 in case something comes up where I might need it if I'm doing anything that is action? I'm really not going to shoot action with the Q2. I could make it happen, but all the different features and functions on the X-T4 would work better for that. And then I could get a less expensive telephoto for the Fujifilm. There are lots of different brands that offer different lenses for the Fuji system. And I could do different prime lenses for the Fuji as well, because Voigtlander also makes Fuji lenses. I don't know if you're seeing a theme with these Voigtlander lenses, but the Voigtlander lenses will work across all my cameras with different mounts. Now, the Nikon, I haven't found a good adapter to be able to adapt M mount to Nikon F, and I don't think that that is a possibility. If you know of one, let me know. But to be able to put that 35 and that 50 onto the Nikon, I don't think it's going to be a possibility. So getting that 58mm that's made for the Nikon system, the F mount, would be fantastic, or getting the Fuji version of the Voigtlander lens for my X-T4. I could also put it on my X-T1 and have some fun with that. So that's where I'm at right now. I know there's not a lot of resolution in this video. I don't have a final answer for you, but I wanted to give you some insight into what my thought process is, where I am with my different lenses, my cameras, what I'm shooting with, and how I shoot. And that's where I stand with my current gear. I am shooting this on an Insta360 Ace Pro, and so far so good. Now, the only thing with this is it doesn't have any depth of field other than just everything's in focus. And, you know, it's not as cinematic. So thinking about that, and I don't really do vlog style video, even though I'm kind of trying to push the limits of that to make that happen. Sorry, coffee. So I'm rambling, and I know I'm rambling, and I'm curious if this is interesting to you. Let me know. But those are my lenses, those are my cameras, and I'm curious where you are. Where are you in your process? Are you thinking of upgrading, changing, buying something new? And what's your thought process? How do you go about that change? I would love to know, and I want to learn from you. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to drop them below. My name is John Weinberg. Till next time. Take care.